Okay. All right. Please rise for
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, they didn't need to show off, didn't they? They were nervous for it.
Okay, Patty is not here, so we'll do a quick roll. April Carlson.
Present.
Present. Greg Stremka.
Present.
Jeff Conway.
Here.
Eric Morgan here. All right, so let the record reflect that Patty Galasek and Wade Welper are not here. Agenda adjustments approval, none. Announcements, I don't think we've got any. Board member reports. Do any board members have any reports?
I have no reports.
April? No? Jeff? Okay. Then community input, we've got one. Mrs. Schwartzoff, if you want to.
So I just wanted, today I had a conversation with Jen Jeffers, who is hired, do I have to be louder? That's what I just meant.
We can hear you.
Otherwise, a recording.
It's recorded.
Mints in my mouth, I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna
great.
launch one.
Real professional.
Okay. So
Kidding, I'm kidding.
today I had a conversation with Jen Getford, who is hired as the district school improvement consultant for this year. Her contract actually only goes until the end of June. But she is wrapping up her data collection phase. So as part of that, she's talked to members of the community. She's talked to many staff members. She's toured the buildings. She's talked to many students. The last thing that she and I talked about today before she makes her final summary report is she wanted to make sure that any board members who were interested in speaking with her would reach out and do that. The questions that she asked, pretty much the same questions of everyone is, what do you think is going well here? Or what do you think is going well here, and what do you think is an opportunity for improvement? And then, of course, she doesn't leave dead silent. She finds ways to extrapolate.
Okay.
So,
Can you send the contact information to us, just so we all have it in our hands? And
absolutely. So I'm going to send it to your email. I wanted a chance to call to your attention that you will have it on your district email.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks. That's right here. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we've got the consent agenda.
Just one item, just bring your attention to the donations and grants. Thank you to Ashley Furniture for their $2,500 donation to our robotics.
Wow.
And then also on this, part of your approval tonight is approving a $500 grant for our FCCLA and the project, I believe the chicken project. Correct, Mr. Smith? So anyway. And garden, correct, yeah. So.
Chicken in every pot.
So anyway, just wanted to make note of the donation and grant that's on the consent. So unless there's a request to pull something out, we'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will move to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
I just had a question. Is Mr. Clark going to continue as the softball coach, or is he's retiring? Is he continuing as softball coach, or is he retiring from that position as well?
I guess we can follow up on that. I don't know if I can say for sure.
Yeah, usually at the end of the season, the coaches meet and discuss. Yeah, since he just got done Monday, that's a conversation I'm gonna have with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him a.
So officially, this is for retirement as far as teaching position.
Yeah, the teaching assistant. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Action item 9A, Nutrition Services Coordinator. Dale.
Thank you. I'm pleased to recommend Terry Williams to serve as the Nutrition Services Coordinator beginning July 1, 2022. Terry has agreed to the terms of her letter of assignment, including the starting base salary of $42,000 for the first year. So unless there are questions, we'd be looking for a potential motion to approve Terry Williams to serve as the Nutrition Services Coordinator beginning July 1 as presented.
Motion to approve?
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on that? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. All right, action item 9C, staffing plan.
You have in your packet where the board is asked to...
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
You need to
I'm
do
sorry.
What did I miss?
B.
Yeah, no, the
Sign
grounds
Oh,
care.
the ground quotes, sorry. Okay, grounds care quotes?
So you have in your packet a quote that we are recommending approval to contract with Total Land Care for both lawn care and snow removal for 1 year with the option to extend to 2 or 3 years. This comes from a recommendation from our head of Buildings and Grounds, Patrick Hughes, as well, who had planned to be with us last week, unable to be here tonight, though. So, again, this would be both, something new, this would be both, for both services for under one agreement with one service for both lawn care and snow removal. So we believe we received one quote when we put this out. And so we are coming to you tonight recommending for the board to approve this. And unless you have any further questions, a potential motion would be to approve to contract with Total Lawn Care for lawn care and snow removal per the terms of the quote or agreement as presented.
Is this kind of what we've been spending on lawn care and snow removal?
Yeah, there's a number of things involved here. And one reason for only going with 1 year is also the custodial staffing situation too, which Mr. Hughes just believes it's best right now to combine the two services into one. They have the same company to do both to really move us through the year, beginning with this summer. And so the custodial staffing is one thing, and I think just to have it under one umbrella, I think the cost is not that significantly different.
Okay, that's what I was
But,
wondering, if it was
yeah.
pretty close to the same average between the snow
Yeah,
removal and the
it's
lawn
just
care.
packaged a little differently, and then
Yep.
it's only for 1 year as well. With the option of extending if the district were satisfied.
Plus, we're not paying benefits and.
Yeah, no,
so
I think, so this just pays that company for snow removal and lawn care between now and basically this time next year.
Correct.
And that should help everything. That should free up maintenance staff, because, they spend how many days a week on the mower?
Well, and I believe that that's probably the newest piece to this, is really contracting out for the summer maintenance help. And that-
Dethatching? When's the last time they dethatched? I don't even know what that is, but,
Well,
so that's pretty good.
They break up like the grass.
Yeah, they
So,
clean the grass up.
so Mr.
Got it.
Strumpf,
Aerates
it's a little difficult to do it apples to apples on the
Yeah.
costing, just because the summer piece hasn't really been a significant component.
We've always had a custodian
We-
do that.
yes. Yeah, so,
Okay,
but for right now, for that 1 year, we've looked at the
Mm-hmm.
numbers and feel comfortable in advancing this right now.
saying that this is
Yeah.
comparable, and like you said, that way it's just one bill and we're done.
Yeah.
So it's a 1-year agreement with an option to renew at the prices for year 2 and 3?
Yes.
That's good. And, Charlie was a custodian here, so he knows the grounds really well. And I also use Total Land Care. And he does a great job.
Are you comfortable voting on this if you use his services?
Well, if I don't vote, you don't have a quorum. So,
We don't. Okay, we'll allow it. All
thank you,
right.
sir.
Okay, so any further discussion? This is good stuff. Thank you for figuring this out. whoever. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Don't we have to
We
take
need
a
a
motion?
motion.
We haven't had a motion yet?
No.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve.
great. How about a second? Anybody?
Second.
Nice. Jeff Conway, by a nose. Okay, any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Great. Okay. C, staffing plan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tonight, I'm going to present the recommended 2022-2023 staffing plan. The board is asked tonight to consider approval of the plan. I'm going to highlight for you information included that has been included in your board packet. The slide up here right now, there have been some modifications to the preliminary staffing plan that was presented to the board at the April 20th school board meeting based on board input as well as further administrative review. The four main things that you'll see changed, beginning with a grade 4 section added based on, again, further review. Middle school, high school choir position, you may recall we reported that it currently is a 0.9 FTE. We had preliminarily presented to increase that in this change, that will remain at 0.9 FTE. Also, the high school science compared to April, the April preliminary staffing plan is reduced by 0.1 FTE.
Point one.
0.1 FTE.
Okay.
And there was, on that preliminary plan, there was a 0.2 increase, and now there's just a 0.1 increase. So we've reduced it by 0.1. And then also, you may recall, part of that preliminary plan, we had proposed to continue a full-time substitute teacher position. The final recommendation is to not continue that position. Okay, next. So the revision of the elementary school is the addition of the grade 4 section, resulting in a class size average at grade 4 of about 17.25, and that's down from an average of 23 students with 3 sections based on a projection of 69 students. The K through grade 4 average then goes from a 17.8 to about a 17.0 class average. The classroom FTE increases then overall for the building from 19 sections to 20. And we still project an enrollment decrease of more than 10 students, although again, as we said in April, we're very hopeful that we're on the, if anything, the low side of that conservatively, and it will be wonderful news if we are higher. Okay. This slide shows simply the number of sections for each grade level at the elementary school, along with the class size average for next year. And you notice the change on grade 4. With the middle school, again, the total increase due to the choir position of not increasing that by 0.1, we are just noting an increase overall of 1.5 FTE down from 1.6. And that 1.5, as you may recall, is really reflecting a shift in special education staffing between the high school and the middle school. The high school plan shows an overall reduction of 1.3 FTE, which again, significantly, that's most from the special ed shift. But that change I noted on that first slide is in the area of science, and it will only increase now by 0.1 versus the 0.2 FTE, so not very significant. And again, on the next slide, the next slide was simply the full-time substitute teacher position, and this plan now does not continue that position. So Overall, the staffing adjustments, what we've done overall is we've changed the plan since April by 0.2. So back in April, there was a recommendation to increase the overall teacher FTE from 88.0 to 88.4. Now you see it's 88.2. And then we just are using about an average of a $65,000 cost for a 1.0 position. So we just put an approximation of about $13,000. And that's all relative to an average that we utilize when we try to cost something like this. And then just a continual reminder, there are positions that continue to be acknowledged, needs, programming and servicing needs, that we want to keep this out in front. But these are not included in the staffing plan that's presented. Just a reminder that the staffing plan, the effort has been to try to keep it as neutral to this year with not significant changes, even though we do acknowledge the forecasted enrollment drop. It'll be something that the district, the board, staff will want to continue to monitor through the summer months, but then also working into next school year as well. But right now we feel comfortable in presenting this to you. Be happy to take any questions you might have. And before, at some point, looking for a potential motion to approve the 2022-2023 staffing plan as presented this evening.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. I have a question. So the elementary, can you go back that one last slide? The unmet. The elementary health office assistant, so that position potentially could get us money by that person being able to bill and whatnot. So I know in a COVID committee meeting, we talked about, gosh, we should probably get one of those. So I would love to see us still get that person, because I think while maybe they won't completely pay for themselves, I think that there'd be a return on investment there.
Well, we also, Laura now has more time too, right? Because she's not, in theory.
So is the billing getting done? You don't know that answer.
We talked about
I'm
that.
not going to be able to
Fine.
really
Fine.
respond tonight to that. It's a fair question. You're right. It's been out there on the table for discussion. In our staffing planning, we've discussed some of the same questions you're raising tonight, but right now, I'm just not comfortable inserting that when we had to take into consideration everything else as well.
I have a couple questions. Is this ranked in order now?
It still is not ranked in order. I think there still needs to be more discussion, even beyond the administrative team, on that rank. So no, it's not.
And would we still need a building and grounds custodian if we do the contract with Charlie?
I think, well, especially, we're probably already looking to fall. And so once the growing season is done, we're back to that normal of, we've had the snow removal anyway. Mm-hmm. So I would say yes. Right now, I think first and foremost, right now, we do have at least one position currently posted. So we need to fill that, which is an ongoing challenge.
Yeah.
I think this is on here not to lose sight of it, but I think it'll be something that if the district is able to have a consideration, it will need to be discussed as far as priority and where does it rank. I think there will be some who will say, yes, we still will need additional custodial staff, but it's always that at that moment in time, ranking it and setting those priorities at that time, weighing it with everything else. So this is separate again from the position that we already have posted. And just to elaborate a little bit further, with buildings and grounds, our custodial staff, we are not replacing. You might want to think of this as the position that has been currently funded this year through the ESSER or COVID dollars. Mm-hmm. And so that might help you kind of think about that position, because right now we're down 2 positions, but we're really only posting for 1 right now, and not that position that's been funded through the ESSER dollars.
And then my final comment slash question is, I don't see like a special ed coordinator or director role on here. And I feel very strongly like we need to look at improving our special ed services here. And, you know, we don't need to get all the details tonight, but what are we paying HVED? What are they doing for us? And could we hire a full-time person that's invested in the school and builds a relationship with the students here instead of that contract? So I'm not seeing that role on here, but I would really like us to look into that as a possible future position.
Maybe we could invite Clover to a board meeting and then she could tell us what they do.
We can absolutely start drawing that comparison, and absolutely.
And then my last question, on the permanent sub, how many years did we have that position? Just 1?
I believe actually just this last semester, technically.
Yes.
So there's not going to be a tenure issue or anything?
No, this is not a
Okay.
position that's even part of the association,
Got it.
so.
All right, so any further discussion? Further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I think we covered full-time sub in action B, or do you need an action on that?
Well, yes, we're just, I think right now, we would ask for the board to consider a motion based on the approval of staffing plan and the discontinuation of the full-time substitute position.
Okay.
We would ask to approve the discontinuation or termination of Mr. Dalton Yoakum's employment effective the end of the school year as a result of not extending the full-time teacher substitute position. And I just want to take the opportunity just to clarify, when times like this happen and we bring something like this, I want to make it very clear, this is not reflected in any way of performance. It's totally a staffing plan financial. So we do have that draft motion for your consideration. If you have questions, otherwise be looking for that motion to be made.
I make a motion to approve.
And I will second. On discussion, I would invite Mr. Yoakum to look through our wanted ads. Did we like them? I mean, he must have been okay. Okay, great. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Action item E, first reading, Reading Well Literacy Plan for Elementary.
And I'm just going to ask Mr. Kopp to maybe make a comment or two.
Well, I think we're all for that, right?
Much of this is similar to what you've seen in the past. Updated the roster there to include the staffing changes that have happened. The notable changes in the meat and potatoes of this, obviously it's dated next month's board meeting. As you scroll through, you'll notice that we've added additional phonics programs at the pre-K and also adding Sunday e-system to the classrooms. That's additional phonics direct instruction that will improve students' ability to decode and read. And so that's really matches well with our focus on improving school reading scores and our approach to literacy. So much of the rest of it remains consistent. This is just a yearly reading for your awareness.
Brings more phonics into like the sounding phonics
Yep,
into it.
yep. To
Okay.
be able to, because we naturally learn how to speak, but we don't naturally know how to read, and so we have to break it apart into little chunks.
Yep.
And that's one of the deficits we've noted in the past, is that kids in some ways get into middle school and they are having decoding issues that affect their fluency and their ability to comprehend. And so we're trying to really focus on that at the early primary level and we're looking to see improvement in results.
I like it.
So we are asking, actually, the board take action even on this first review, reading tonight, and again, as we make any changes or improvements on this for the next time. So potential motion would be to approve the first reading of the Reading Well Literacy Plan for the elementary school.
I'll make motion.
Second?
All right, any discussion?
My only question is, does it need to be changed at all with the additional section added?
Nothing about how we deliver curriculum will be affected by that additional section.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Action item 9F, cooperative agreement with Montessori and STEM. Uriah Hayes.
Yeah. So I'm here today seeking approval for cooperative sponsorship for the Crescent Montessori and STEM School for all activities. I've done a lot of research in regards to what a cooperative sponsorship would look like for the Crescent High School. I found that the pros outweigh the cons in this particular situation. As the agreement will point out, and I brought the agreement here, it does not affect any sort of classifications where our ability to fall in any activity. I also know that the worry was that more kids in our community would attend the Crescent Montessori and STEM where we would pass something like this. After talking with members of the Montessori and STEM school, they stated that they do not intend to expand, nor do they have the capacity to do so. The STEM school has been in a co-op with Houston High School, Houston Public Schools for the past 2 years. And as a result of that sponsorship or that partnership, they've had 3 of their students actually transfer to Houston and are now going to Houston Public Schools. Based on the relationships they've made through participating in activities in Houston. The Crescent Montessori and STEM School is a valuable member of our community, and I think it's important for us as a district to provide opportunities for all of these children to participate in athletics here in their own community. A lot of these kids growing up playing sports and participating in activities as lancers. And I think it's important that we can provide the opportunity for these kids to continue to treat it with their fellow teammates and friends. Term of the agreement would be for a 2-year term, which provides us with the opportunity to dissolve the cooperative sponsorship after the 2 years. We didn't like it. I do feel that this is worthy of giving a chance.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
We've got a first and a second. Any discussion? Any idea, do you have a feel for what kind of numbers they can bring to us,
Yeah, so
roughly?
after talking with the MSHSL, next year they would take this year's, numbers from their school, the enrollment numbers. We would actually take on, so we take on half of their enrollment. That counts against us for the thrown into our class, which doesn't affect us. We take on 9 kids next year. And then the following year, we would take on 14 students total. So depending on how many kids down there want to take advantage of something like this, and I think there would be a number of them, whether it be robotics or anything, I think you can help.
And will they terminate their agreement with Houston?
Yes, they will resolve that.
Okay.
that sponsorship, yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Good work.
Thank you for
Getting
getting
figured
this
out.
done. Long overdue.
All right, moving on to 9G, Luther College Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah, the board has asked to consider approval of the MOU for Luther College for next school year. This is an annual renewal in which the school district agrees to partner with Luther College to provide Luther College students with clinical field experiences in our schools. And So unless you have questions, a motion would be to approve the Luther College MOU as presented.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 9H, Hiawatha Valley Mental Health Center Agreement.
The board is asked to consider approval of this agreement with Hiawatha Valley Mental Health for next school year. This would be a continuation or a renewal of those services. So again, unless there are questions, potential motion would be to approve the Hiawatha Valley Mental Health Center agreement for next year as presented.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion. So where does this fall in line with HVED? Do we get mental health supports through HVED as well? Or do they just make the referrals to? If you don't know, that's okay.
No, I think we can, I'm going to just ask our principals.
They sound a lot alike.
Right.
They are completely
Okay.
separate and completely different.
So they don't,
We get behavior supports from HVED,
okay,
but that's kind of related, but not mental health supports.
okay, okay.
What's an example of a service they provide that's non-covered by other?
Direct service to students within our school. Like small group or individual counseling sessions.
The secondary level is almost all individual.
And who makes that referral? Is it the child's doctor?
No, well, the family would submit the application, then their agency does the screening we take, and then they schedule appointments.
Oh, okay, so do the students meet with anyone from our district first, or it's just straight on to them?
Typically, there would be some interaction with the guidance counselors, so.
Okay. Okay.
They would help recommend.
Okay.
And do the records become part of the educational record, or do the records, are they maintained under HIPAA by the provider?
Yeah, they're maintained by the provider.
Okay, so the records are not kept in the district?
But they'll meet with our students in our buildings?
They will. Yes.
Okay.
During school year.
There will be meetings between the healthcare provider and then our on-school staff, not to share details, but to share awareness.
All right. Any further discussion? And we've had a long-standing relationship with them, correct? Okay. All right, that's awesome. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Review item 10A, pupil enrollment. Okay.
And just notice just a slight increase, not significant, but we've been kind of in that range for much of the year. Any questions on the enrollment? Otherwise,
No? Financial report.
again, with the rescheduling, that Ms. Blake is unable to be here, but she has provided you with the financial report, and hopefully you're getting used to reading that. And if we're unable to answer a question, we will certainly have Ms. Lake follow up for you.
Dale had one question. We received some feedback about accessibility issues in one of the buildings, right? So if changes need to be made related to the accessibility issues, will that fall under construction and part of the construction piece, or would that need to come out of one of the other?
I'm going to say yes, that construction or those dollars that the board had designated. but also long-term facility maintenance eligibility as well.
Because I feel like those should have been things identified by our architect, right, for ADA compliance. And if there's needs in this building, there's likely needs in the other building as well.
Yes, you would hope that there would be fewer in the elementary building with more of the major, but,
Right.
but yeah, it is something we're aware of and following up on those. And I can't speak to what may have been identified in the original project and
Right.
just wasn't part of the actual remodeling area. It's only when you touch those areas to a large
Yeah.
degree that
Yeah.
then you need to. So just can't speak to that, but we are aware of that and be having those conversations, absolutely. And it might end up being, as we reported out at the budget workshop, as we prioritize, especially those facility needs. So this is a good example, maybe things that we have to look at first.
Because it would help reduce the need of a para assistants all the time, so that would help reduce costs on that side of it, so the sooner the better on taking care of some of those issues.
Yep.
Any other questions on the financial report? Okay, COVID-19, just a placeholder. What are our numbers?
Well, I looked as of yesterday, and I didn't look today, but I think
That's
there
okay.
were,
So what are they?
I think it was, there were three students at
Okay. So
three
we're
and
going down.
one, something,
So 3 in the elementary, 1 in the middle school, 0 staff.
0 staff, right.
All right. Any questions, discussion? Okay. All right, news from the classroom?
Come on, Connor.
Hey.
Go ahead, sir.
So Mr. Cody Brown, the high school social studies teacher, is also the Minnesota representative. Got plenty to show to you guys today, but a couple of pieces of information from the union itself. Just so you all know, we have the votes tallied for this year's honorees for Person of the Year. We have not released them. We're going to release those at the end of the year meeting. We want it to be more of a surprise. Hopefully we can kind of keep that consistent from here on out. Also, I did not add anything. I could have, but I was asked by the community leadership not to, because they were afraid what you guys would think, because they thought you guys would make fun of them. So recently, the last activity we did is the students in community leadership had to teach each other something that meant something to them. So for example, Liam Farrell taught people how to swing a golf club, all sorts of different stuff. Well, Izzy Von Ars taught the class how to cheerlead, and some specific students, primarily a young man named Derek Duncanson, did not want to be seen doing that. So I was going to show you the video. They asked me not to, so out of respect for them, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Who would make fun?
Did a good job.
We did show it off to the office. They had a good time with it. So he was a good sport. So with that being said, the first slide, there's a lot going on there, so I'll try to summarize the best of my ability. Sorry, I didn't notice that Mr. Thomas threw that part in there. So, Mr. Thomas, our civics class, we try to, when I say we, part of the social studies department, we're trying to do as much hands-on and, oh gosh, I'm spacing on the word right now. But actual putting things into practice. So instead of just talking about what the Supreme Court does, we actually do simulations of what they do. So 9 kids are nominated to the Supreme Court, all right? And then you go through the whole shebang, and they have to actually act through it. And they take it pretty seriously, and it's a really good time. The kids actually vote for who their Supreme Court justices are, so we put that ownership on them, not on us. We kind of just let them do. And Mr. Thomas and Mr. Shapiro are doing that right now, and it's a really good time. So this was the one I was talking about. That's pretty long. But again, a continued effort, especially in this community, is to try to bring local partnerships together, working together, because again, I think we can all agree it's important that we as adults model that to kids. But if you would flip to the next slide really quickly so you guys can see the end product. I mean, the natural playground, it's pretty great. I mean, a lot of really happy kids. Obviously, this is local, so it's great to support local people, but look what it's contributing to our kids. And again, that's always going to be the focus when we're part of a school district. In Spanish, I had mentioned what Ms. Piney is doing frequently, but she speaks only in Spanish to all the kids, which was a little overwhelming for them, but I think they're finally realizing that having that thrown at them every single day is good for them and their development. She's also trying to create more critical thinking skills and more creative writing-based things, so these kids are actually taking ownership of what they're learning because they get to choose. So they're writing things in Spanish based off things that they care about.
Nice.
And then earthquake-proof structures. This is fun as well. Again, hands-on learning, giving multiple different kids different varieties of learning. So learning about plate tectonics, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but people like the Inca had different sorts of structures that were able to withstand earthquakes. So the kids are learning how to do those kinds of things with toothpicks, marshmallows. There are some videos. I'm not sure if you guys are able to show them or not, if you guys would like to see them. That will be on, what slide was that one? That was 10. Yep. And doesn't look like it. If you guys would like to see these, we'll find ways to get them to you. That's no problem at all. All right, and then next one, 3rd grade. Again, just more hands-on stuff. You guys have seen a lot from the garden, but again, it's really fun to see the kids outside, moving, doing hands-on activities, because again, I think we can all agree the book stuff gets a little exhausting sometimes, so I think it's important to kind of put these into practice, apply it all, so they can see that there is an end result, and there's a reason for what we do. And then cleanup day. Leadership did something similar as well, but FCCLA, again, it's important to promote these leadership activities. But April 26th, they cleaned up the ditches, and I think you guys can all agree, it's important to get those kids' faces out in the community. People want to see us, and we want people to see them. And then preschool 4K, kids earn marbles by recognizing other people for kindnesses that they share. And again, it's fun, and it's pretty laid back. I mean, a marble might not mean much to you guys, but that goes a long way. They're gifting something, and I think that's very important to kind of teach that morality to kids. It's good to give back, thank people for what they do for them. And then a bunch of different things, but again, it's a lot of just the faces of the kids and what they're doing, finding joy and happiness in learning. Again, the book stuff can get a little intense sometimes, and I think some people assume that's all we do, but again, I think it's important that we see and recognize the kids because they're the ones that are really doing. We want to step out of the way. They're the show. So, and then again, just more of it, celebrating Mother's Day, just giving back, and I think again that's what we really want to emphasize, love and kindness right now. And then bike to school day. I like that Mr. Kopp got a nice little cameo here as well. Sorry, I'm squeaking all over the place, but again, it's just a good time, giving the kids opportunity. Maybe they'll get to do like a tractor to school something someday. So they did that back in my hometown. Obviously not at that age, but yeah.
Done it here before. I think I'll give that helmet back to the 1st grader.
Right. And then 3rd grade field trip. I mean, we hear about these things all the time. I mean, the high schoolers are always begging that we go to other places as well. Field trips are always fun, but going to Corey Hill, and if you guys have had the opportunity to, go there, that's a dream for a young kid. And again, what better way to learn than just live it and be there? And again, getting them outside, knowing there's a lot of ways to not only engage your brain, but also your body. And then just more gardening. Again, it's fantastic that these kids are getting out there, having fun, putting their hands in the dirt, learning these things that they can actually also take with them outside. And then this one's been really fun as well. I had the opportunity to judge them the other day. I was a little scared because some of them have little smirks on their faces, so you think they're trying to like slip you something in the food. It was all good though. I was really impressed with how well they do. I don't know if you guys are fans of like the Food Network, but Mr. Smith was also with me when we were doing that. Cooper was scaring me with that look on his face. But again, they're making all sorts of food, stuff that honestly would kind of surprise you guys. It's not just your basic stuff. Like, it's really in-depth meals. They have to explain why they do it. Again, that's very important education, is understanding the why, being able to explain those kinds of things. But then they just have fun with it. They get to eat the food too. I mean, that's awesome. And I don't know if you guys have seen that facility. It's immaculate. It's great. And then class 2035. I mean, if you want to look at a picture that makes all you guys feel old, that's it right there. But again, it's very fun. It's good to look forward to the future because, again, these are our future.
Not mine.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, administrative reports, secondary principal.
Mostly for your review, but a few things I just want to kind of go off.
That's good
the
stuff.
report on the pictures that Cody showed in there in his Traxler's classroom in the kitchen area. Just to kind of put that in perspective, we had 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think we ran one section of students getting cooking 101. We currently are running
Secondary school, May is a sprint, so we've just got a lot of those end of the year things are coming up. I was able to attend our top 5% banquet at UWL that the lacrosse chamber puts on. They sponsor it, WKBT TV hosts it. So all the area high schools have their senior graduates. They're in the top 5% of the class attend. And we've not done that in person for 3 years, so it's really cool to see everybody be able to gather again and do that, and that was really great. Prom, 162 attendees and tickets, so split up between the school and the community center, and I think that's a model they want to continue with. So the Grand March occurred here at the high school, and then the dance itself occurred over at the community event center. We've met with our seniors here this week. They, of course, finish on Friday. And then next week they have their activities planned, and of course graduation is that following Sunday. And we've been working out all of the things that go along with that. So they practice on Friday morning when the rest of the school, the high school, will run their final exam schedule Thursday and Friday. Middle school has pool day planned on Tuesday, and then that afternoon, that Friday, they'll do their outside activities as well with the 5K associated with that. Side note, we are nearly complete with all of our hiring processes, so I'm really happy about that. So we have been able to secure a science teacher, and Mr. Malico was able to hire a math teacher. We are in the process now, as you guys know, you've approved a couple retirements and resignations there, so those positions will be posted. We'll continue to interview, but feeling like we're in a pretty good place right now with that. So, thank you. Any further questions for Principal Swift?
What was the referral data?
Middle school remained about the same. High school, we had more referrals in April, primarily for attendance issues. So as we start the second semester, if students are late to school more than 3 times, then that becomes a referral. So pretty standard in terms of what we typically see as that semester goes on.
But what is the data compiled by Beth?
Oh,
Don't have that yet, the middle school one.
Okay. I'll just add for post-prom too. So we had post-prom after the prom, and then the dance, and then they went to post-prom at Playmore. So that's the junior class parents that coordinate that each year. And there was over 150 kids that went to that. We had so many donations that every kid that was there got something. Either a $50 gift card all the way up to like a kayak, TV. So they had a good time with that.
all right. Principal Kopp.
Yeah, might as well just, check out the picture there. That's the 60 kids that were biking to school on May 4th. So that was a very successful event in partnership with Safe Routes to School. We're trying to encourage that active, healthy living. Just scroll down to the next one. We are not having to socially distance or assign seats that are far apart, so kids are able to gather and eat lunch together, so that's a really welcome change. The natural playground has been a hit with our youngest learners, and it was a really fun to show that off at the open house. I thought that was pretty well attended. We had I'd say a couple hundred people there on the 15th for the grand opening, so we appreciate that. That event was very successful. We had another event 2 days later called Walk Around the World, in which our partner organization funded by PTO, Fine of Winona, helped produce an event where kids and adults and community volunteers and community members could get kind of a taste of different countries, and we have a facility now that supports that kind of event. In addition to the open house, the commencement, just today we had our kindergartners and our pre-K celebrate, and so we have a place now where we we can welcome in the public, the parents, the community. So that's definitely a point of pride to be able to have that. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and then the clearly posted expectations, just continuing to try and move the ball on how we proactively prepare for teaching student behavior.
And is it this Friday that the seniors are going cap and gowning?
Yes, they will walk the ramp. And
So I'm
that
sure-
was a hit today. They did pomp and circumstance in the main gym, and so, yeah, the seniors will walk through on June 3rd at 10.
So next week then?
Yep.
Okay.
You bet.
And I'm sure we'll get that on Facebook.
We will, we're trying to get as much positive
Good.
PR as possible.
Okay. All right, any more questions for Principal Kopp? Okay, Beth Thie.
Just for your review, just want to point out, foster grandma, Barb Hesmer and Nancy Mueller, we finally got to go back to their in-person recognition event this year, and Barb has been volunteering for us for 19 and a half years, and Nancy at 13 and a half years. Helping kids learn how to read and doing all sorts of fun things, so we're very fortunate to have those ways. And I survived my 3-day extravaganza with the 6th grade class, so we will walk again. It's fantastic. They all survived without their cell phones. They did beautifully, and
It's awesome.
it was awesome.
Okay. Any questions for Beth? No? Okay. Dale?
Yeah, thank you. Just an additional comment or plug again for our end-of-the-year employee recognition program scheduled for Friday, June 3rd. We'll open up here in the cafeteria at 1 p.m. and our program will start at 1:30, and you're all invited. And really, thank you to a few of the board members who have already responded. We will have jobs for you, and we appreciate in advance your participation. And really looking forward to this event. And thank you to the board for allowing us to have this opportunity to bring everybody together and to celebrate one another. And on a personal note, I just appreciate, until you've experienced firsthand the COVID issue, I tell you, it's been a challenge, and I just thank so many for the board and the staff for really stepping up and covering some of the things. And it's taken me, just the number of things that have been covered tonight in the reports, the number of activities and the things that have gone on, the celebrations and today, and to not be able to, or to decide not to be able to attend those things has been hard, but also it's just been really wonderful to see those happen, and all the work that goes in by our staff and to make things like that happen. And so whether it was the open house event, which was a success, and prom, and just a number of activities. So just, but it's hard to miss those things. And so really I've had a renewed appreciation for what too many have had to go through. So I just wanted to offer that thanks to everybody.
Any further questions for Dale?
Motion to adjourn.
You know what, before you do that, I just wanted to point out, I guess I do have a real quick comment. So I was at the open house, and I was impressed with how many members of the general public were there. I was unimpressed with district staff that were there, and only 2 board members that I saw were there. So it's too bad that we missed that opportunity to celebrate.
It was during soccer, so.
I understand. We all have choices to make, and I get it.
Share that.
But the members of the public were very good. The amount of them were there was good.
Lots of elderly people, which I thought was really fantastic.
Yeah. I thought the building looked fantastic. It was a busy day. We had an art show in the cafeteria at the high school. Plus we had scholarship day. Whatever it was earlier. It was a jam-packed day. So thank you to everyone who was involved in that. That was excellent. And also, I don't know if anyone saw the lacrosse trip today. Did you see the picture of Jenny Dockweiler on the front page? Anyone remember Jenny Dockweiler? So she accompanied on the piano how many years, and wasn't she a reading grandma as well?
She was a part of getting that grand piano too.
Okay.
Yep.
So she's in an assisted living somewhere, and the ghost of Camp Randall, I don't know if it's UW alumni, pep band, marching band members or whatever, they were at one of these retirement homes, and there was a picture of Ginny, all smiles, so it was pretty cool. So she was a really neat lady. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Thank you.
Finish strong, buddy.